We're going to walk through the steps of having a common assessment document to keep track of all of my Kami questions. So right here, I've got my document name and I have my Google Documents right here. So I just hyperlinked everything into this document. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to first open up this document right here. So here's the document and I'm going to open this up into Kami. Once I open this up into Kami, this is a setting that also might help. So right here, it has questions. This way I know it has questions. If I wanted to make another version of it, I would convert this to a new file. If this button does not appear for you, this is something you'll have to turn on in your settings. And once it loads, I'm going to show you how to do that. So up here where your initials are, I go into my settings and I come down and I want to go into this, let's see here. It is under beta features, convert non-PDF file and turn this on. Okay, that is what it's allowing me to make a copy. So anytime I come into this document, I click on that Kami button, it's going to prompt me, hey, do you want to make a copy of this, convert a new file, or do you want to open up that file that you just had open? Okay, so that can be really helpful. And so once I open that up, I can then come up here and I like to add this word questions. Sometimes I'll do class 1. So that again, that's so I know that this is class 1's activity. Because if I come back in here to this document and I hit convert a new file, what's going to happen is this is going to be for maybe class 2. And then if I go back into that Google Doc, click that Kami button again, I'm going to have multiple versions of that document right there. So there's class 1, class 2, or I can create a whole new copy. So again, that can get kind of confusing. So I just want to point that out that again, you have to turn this on in settings if you want to kind of create a copy, or you can leave it as is. And so again, the reason that I like to have this Google document is so if I'm sharing questions with my other teachers, I want to come in here and once I generate, so once I go over here to questions AI, it's going to create those questions for me. I then can hit this share button and I'm going to do anybody with the link right here. And I will probably want to suggest that you create an individual copy. The reason you would want to create an individual copy is so that when your co-teachers, if they want to use an assessment that you're using, they get their own copy of that file. If this is just for you, then you can just hit restricted and you can just make it as so. So you can just kind of grab this link right here and just leave it when it pops up. You could also do anybody in your domain if you don't want to open up to everybody out in the webs. But again, they have to have the link in order to access this document. So again, I could just do myself and do editor, copy the link and put it on there. But if you are working with other teachers, then you'll want to probably create this individual copy because if they make a change to your tests, sometimes that can be really frustrating. And so I'm going to go ahead and hit copy. And then I just paste this onto my spreadsheet like that. Okay. And so then again, they're going to get a copy of this assignment. And what you'll want to do then is you can share this spreadsheet. Here's the Google document. So that original version does not have questions on it because what Kami is doing is it's taking this copy of your Google Doc and it's converting it into a PDF when it moves it over. So you'll see right here in the name, it changes. So again, that's why I sometimes will write class 2 or sometimes, for example, on let's say this document, instead of activity, I'm going to call this questions. I'll add the word questions up here to help me with my naming protocols. This little arrow will tell you where this file is at. So you can move it into another folder if you don't want it to save wherever it is saving. You can also show where is this document at in your Google Drive. And so again, you might notice that with this file that you're going to have two versions. You're going to have that Google Doc and then you're going to have the PDF version. And if you make any other copies, you're also going to have those additional copies. That's why those naming protocols are going to be huge for you when if you are going to turn that on in your settings. Okay, so again, let's kind of go through those steps one more time with our next activity on our document. So again, in settings, we've already turned on where it's going to ask us if we want to convert that document. So again, I linked that document right here, the original document. I come to it and I'm going to go ahead and open it up into Kami. Once I open it up into Kami, I'm going to hit convert because it's never been added into Kami, this document. Once I add it, I like to add a naming protocol. So I'm going to go ahead and just add questions. That way I know. I'm going to come over here to Questions AI, convert it, and convert this document. I'm going to wait for those few seconds for it to take this resource and type them for me into that side panel. Once I edit those questions, once I agree with those questions, if I want to add them onto the document or leave them in that side panel, I'm going to come up here to the share icon, decide if I want others to be able to edit my questions or if I want to create that individual copy. My suggestion, my recommendation is if you're sharing this with other teachers, you're going to want to do that, create an individual copy. If it's just a hub for you, you can just leave it as an editor. Copy that link and then you paste it right here on that spreadsheet. And then that way your teachers can view the Google document and they'll have the Google Kami link right here. So Google document here, Kami here, and then that naming protocol here. Then I can click on it and it's going to take me to that same assignment and it's going to have all of those questions over here. Okay, if you need any help with this, feel free to reach out. But I think this can be a really helpful way just to stay organized with, okay, where's my original document and where's the Kami document? And again, if you go into that settings and turn on that feature, it's again under settings. So your initials, settings, and then it's down here towards the bottom where it says beta features convert non-PDF file. And I love it on because again, I taught multiple classes. However, if you're an elementary teacher, you might want to leave that turned off. But for me, it was turned on because then I can do class 1, class 2, class 3, and not need to delete or remove those annotations. And if I didn't finish the lesson, I could come back in and complete that for class 2 on day 2, and it wouldn't affect classes 1's activities. So again, that's just something that I preferred to do, but totally optional for you. And again, reach out if you have questions.